Obviously, we saw last time around for Roccat, rather than going for the Alistar in the top lane, Maokai was left open, who we've said probably the strongest top laner around right now. And look at that, blue side KaSing first ban for the Super Hot Crew.
So we could see Roccat once again ban Maokai to make sure it's not going to be first pick by Super Hot Crew. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Alistar banned by Super Hot Crew in this game, simply because they know if Maokai is banned away and Dr. Mundo, it's going to be the choice for Xaxus, or could be the choice for him, and I'm still not sure if they know how to play against it.
Well, let's see. They've taken Cogmore out. Celaver obviously had 2 winning games on that. Mundo, as you mentioned already, is taken away for a 3rd time in a row by Roccat. And I think this is a hard decision now for the Super Hot Crew. They get to KaSing and Cogmore out, but where do they put their next focus? It's going to be towards Jankos, taking away Elise from the jungle.
So again, remember the first game where Elise Sin was banned? It's been Elise the next 2 because Jankos is such a good Elise player, and Roccat as a team love to use her for these early tower pushes and control all the lanes. So let's see. Alistar is open. Gragas is open, but again, changed. Not as strong on this patch. And therefore, doesn't seem like anyone wants to play him.
First pick Morgana. I said that before as well, that Morgana being a champion since we've had so many support changes. One of the few that have been left untouched and is most definitely strong at this point. That will go over this time to the Super Hot Crew. Of course, did as well in game 1. Roccat just went in there and said, okay, we'll have ourselves Thresh. And we'll see if that's the similar route that they want to go down in this match. For now, though, Roccat hovering over Tristana. I also think that Alistar, they might not even need to pick that up so early in the rotation, because I don't think we'll see Mimer playing that regardless.
So unless they want to play mind games with Super Hot Crew and play Alistar support, they could take it early and hopefully believe Super Hot Crew, or make Super Hot Crew believe it's going to be the top lane Alistar. They pick whatever into it and then use the last pick. This is one of the first times, if there's actually going to be a Ryze mid for Overpow, where I see Roccat early pick his champion. Normally, they're always delayed as the last pick because Overpow is a player. He played 16 different champions in the LCS. He didn't play a single champion more than 3 times. That's a massive champion pool, maybe even too big, and just shows how he can pick whatever he wants and the team will trust him to do it. Seems to be Ryze again, unless it's going to be Ryze top lane.
On the other side, that Kayle that we saw in game number 2. Fight that went horrible for him. You notice that the intervention was left up after 3 of them ended up going down, and the Baron went over towards Roccat. They're gonna take the Kayle, but also take Rengar for a 2nd game in a row for Impaler.
And just notice how all the champions are the same for Super Hot Crew here. Twitch is still open for MrRalleZ if they want to try and do the same deal. Even Zed would be open for Selfie. Not sure they want to go with the Zed pick again, but Twitch did work out in the case where they did the swaps around. He got a few kills early on, but still fell very far behind. First in the lane swap, because he lost a big wave while Super Hot Crew were doing the very first dragon. Talk about how he felt like 20 CS behind compared to Celaver. And then he couldn't lane 2v2 anyway against Rocket's bot lane. So I want to see what the last 2 picks for Super Hot Crew will be. So far, same as last game.
Taking away there, Jarvan in the jungle again. Thresh will be going over onto VandeR. So leaving that final pick to, well, I mean, we can't ever count away the fact that Ryze may end up in the solo lane with Xaxus or in the middle with Overpow. And there's still a chance that Overpow could pick out something different and give Xaxus the Ryze, or the Alistar maybe from game number 1 make a reappearance. We do have to say, though, that all depends on what the Super Hot Crew are going to go for here. Looks like Twitch again for MrRalleZ, and the, I think, safe pick of the Orianna for me.
Yes, was banned last game by Roccat. Overpow played it game 1. Worked really well for him. And I like this from Super Hot Crew because you don't fully 100% now commit to full pick comp. You actually get an Orianna now for team fights, which is very, very good. You have protection now for MrRalleZ. You have to engage with Rengar Orianna. So all of a sudden, the Super Hot Crew can actually contest dragons now. Even if all 5 members from Roccat are standing there, Super Hot Crew can look for fights. And also still have the pick potential from Morgana, from Rengar, from a Twitch. Roccat on the other side, with the Alistar being locked in again for the top lane. Once again, looking for very strong team fights. Now, the mid-game, however, when you have Tristana, when you have Ryze, can be pretty weak. And that's where SUPA HOT CREW can look to punish Roccat now. So actually reversed from game 1.
Have to try and have a strong mid-game in this one with Tristana falling down. See how Alistar does as well, whether they'll look for a lane swap, whether they'll want to try and 1 versus 1 Mimer on Kayle in that top side. Either way, it's got to happen here for the SUPA HOT CREW.
Yeah.
2-0 down, they now have to win 3 games in a row. That's a very, very tough deal. And guys, I just want to ask you, which 5 champions do you think are going to push to victory here in this match? Tweet hashtag SHC win or hashtag ROC win to @LOL Esports, and we'll see what you think once we get into game number 3. That vote swinging between game 1 and 2. You thought the SUPA HOT CREW were going to win game number 1. It was Roccat that came out on top there. Game number 2, it swung back to Roccat, and SUPA HOT CREW looked good until that one disastrous fight that they then gave Roccat the Baron, a fast push up the bottom lane, a team fight, and then victory. They did not mess around. We're going to see exactly how this one all goes down. The SUPA HOT CREW here fighting for their spot at the Worlds. Roccat only 1 win away now from playing against Fnatic in the semi-finals next week at Gamescom.
And let's see here for Roccat. They do have a pretty strong dual lane actually. So in that case, they can go for the 2v2 against SUPA HOT CREW. But it's all about this Alistar in the top lane. I don't know if he actually wants, if Roccat wants to send it in a one-on-one. Especially because Kayle can just poke him down from range and should be fairly safe. And you will also lose the whole roaming Alistar early, where you try to set up some ganks, because he's going to get pushed down to his own tower by Mimer up in his top lane. So he won't be able to roam around. Then again, if you do lane swap, you kind of leave Twitch in a good situation to just farm. So it's a bit of a tricky situation here for Roccat. Do you favor the roam and the farm on your Alistar, or do you want to try and shut down MrRalleZ on Twitch?
Well, to me, it looks like SUPA HOT CREW want to initiate this one. They're going to recall, and actually no, they're walking straight back towards that bottom lane here, funnily enough. At the moment, though, Roccat are up on the top side of the map, sending their AD carrying support in there. So it looks like Roccat want to get that lane swap in. I imagine that Xaxus just going to stick around with Jankos to get things going. Are they going to cross over to blue here early on, though?
So we do have to say Tristana on this patch is a bit weaker in the laning phase. Lost some damage on an E, which was a normal trade where you would walk up, shoot the E on the enemy AD carry, hit him once and just move away and wait for the dot to do all the damage. It's been nerfed a little bit here. So in that case, would be as lane dominant, but should still be able to shut down on Twitch. But wow, SUPA HOT CREW is actually lane swapping to this top lane. And then for a bit of a surprise, lose blue buff and once again, 2v2, don't see it either.
Don't see that happening.
Look
that
at
could
Impaler.
be really important. Impaler's actually going from his red onto his wraiths and might go up there. This could be disaster for them. Xaxus and Jankos starting off by taking that blue. I think Impaler now seeing VandeR and Celaver might have a good idea that his blue buff will be gone, should cross over. But we've seen already that blue buff done. Is he going to come straight back, or is he going to go down to his own red here, Jankos? He's crossing back to his own red.
But
Impaler doesn't know, though.
Going to his towards his own blue buff. By now they should know it's gone. It was taken. The big deal here is actually the fact that Xaxus came so late to this bottom lane because he was taking the blue buff. I mean, Impaler just checked here to make sure, okay, it's been cleared, we have the timer, or we can now time it pretty easily. The big deal is the fact that Xaxus lost so much farm and XP down this bottom lane. Mimer went straight from red buff to the bottom lane, pushed it out, while Xaxus stayed, killed the blue buff, went back to base, and then he teleported down. So he's very far behind in CS and experience early on.
Gonna have to try stay safe from this. As you mentioned before, Mimer is going to be able to thrash away at him from distance, poke him down with that E and Q combo. Has got in there though, just a little bit behind, 12-5 in CS, and we'll see if Jankos actually tries to go down as he tries to pulverize. Not exactly on target there with that one. And good start obviously with that crystalline flask, so can have a bit of sustain here at the very start, but you have to feel that Mimer will probably be able to wear through those pretty quickly.
Yeah, should be very safe in the lane, unless Jankos shows himself, then Alistar can set up a gank very easily, and at least force a flash away from Mimer here. But Jankos for now, looking towards this mid lane. He was also the guy saying before the game, I expect SUPA HOT CREW to put a lot of focus on the mid lane, and therefore get these 2v2 fights. It's actually been Jankos around this mid lane all the games, while Impaler has been focusing the other lanes.
Well, Impaler you can see coming up middle now. Knows that his opponent's going to have those 2 blues plus his own red. He only was able to start off with a 1 red. Jankos in the end seen that, okay, maybe not too much of an opportunity there for me. I'm going to back away, get back into farming, and Selfie actually getting a ward on the ramp there as well. So that will spot Jankos if he does decide to come back around. In terms of the duo now in this top lane, we could see bang even on the CS between the two of them. Let's see how that one all develops. The real great thing that the Super Hot Crew were able to do in game number 1 is that sneak attack to start the 4 versus 2s, as they actually were 4 versus 3s in some cases, in that top lane that really got them going. We'll see if they can do it again. Impaler is actually coming around, but I don't think that Roccat are going to be forced too far up. Actually binding landing there, but rocket jump had already been started. Decent damage onto Celaver.
Yeah, very good trade here from the Super Hot Crew, doing a very good job farming in the lane as well. On his Twitch here, talking with MrRalleZ before the games, he talked about his Twitch here. He would like to play it if possible. He didn't really enjoy it in these 2v2 lanes. Oh, onto Mimer down his bottom lane. He's safe. But MrRalleZ is like, yeah, I don't enjoy playing Twitch 2v2. I would prefer to just get a lane swap and get my farm and then start roaming around. But he's doing a good job here against Celaver and Tristana, who again is slightly nerfed in the early game. In this patch here, lost quite some damage actually, and therefore need just to ramp it up. Because it's Tristana, however, he can't push down the lane, Celaver all the time, making it hard for MrRalleZ to roam, unless they want to sacrifice farm. But notice what they're doing.
Switching it back up. Duo coming down bottom after Mimer was ganked and lost his flash. And now putting him up towards that top lane. Surely after this recall comes in. Does have TP available, so could TP into that top lane if he wants to. However, seems to be just walking up there. And that might be in anticipation of a possible dragon here. Now having the duo lane on the bottom side of the map, that he still has that TP if he has to come down there. If they decided to get that one started off. In both games, actually, we've seen the Super Hot Crew move to Dragon almost bang on the 3:30 mark. They took it in game number 2. They were actually forced away from it in the first game of this series. So if we're looking at Dragon started times, the Super Hot Crew a little bit behind schedule on this one, but it might not be too far away.
No, and they won't actually start it. Impaler's only level 4, and Roccat at the same time, with the few members they had around, would have maybe tried to stop Super Hot Crew. If they sent all 5 members, they could have taken the Dragon, but they wanted to make sure Mimer could actually go out to his top lane and pick up all the farm. Otherwise, he would have lost 2, 3, 4 waves maybe while taking the Dragon here. So Super Hot Crew decides to just be happy getting the lane farm and also force the swap. Notice again, MrRalleZ instantly recalls, goes up to the top lane. Did a good job early on farming, and now he's just trying to keep it up by constantly swapping away from VandeR and Celaver.
A couple of different item choices this time around. We see Overpow, rather than getting that early tier and actually going towards his Catalyst, maybe that extra health just to give him a boost in lane, because he has been harassed quite a bit by Selfie in these early stages. Either way, Roccat have made a move into the jungle after stealing away the blue buff at level 1 and now going to take the second red buff spawn.
And this should mean Dragon for Roccat, and Super Hot Crew knows it, so they actually send all the members to the top lane instead, try and force ulti from Xaxus and force him away from tower and trade it for the Dragon.
Well, he's going to have to use his ultimate here. We'll pop that one off. We'll see if that 70% damage reduction is going to be enough to get him away. You see how much CC comes his way. He surely will go down here. Actually headbutts KaSing under the tower, but first blood does fall to MrRalleZ. They're going to trade that for a Dragon, though.
So this is simply Super Hot Crew saying we want to keep swapping this Twitch around. As soon as it came to the top lane, we knew the Dragon was gone, so we're going to trade for a kill onto our Twitch here, which is what they want. Not a tower, however, because the lane wasn't actually in a position to push it down and wouldn't be able to kill the tower in time. But at least trade a kill for Dragon. Now they're going to give a bot tower as well, so definitely going in favor of Roccat.
No tower up top, but Roccat getting this tower here, or on their way to getting it. There's another way of pushing in, but they're going to need a bit more time from that. You can see Kayle's actually doing the golems there, and I think Roccat with this second wave coming around, will be able to take this one down without too much of a problem. And that's going to leave him about 1,000 gold ahead in this game. Obviously that one single kill over on the other side to the SUPA HOT CREW. But a trade you may say worth. Still need to be careful though with those kills, or that kill, as it's just the single one, going over to MrRalleZ onto the AD carry.
We have to keep in mind, however, MrRalleZ is an AD carry with no jump against an Alistar and a Jarvan jumping you. It can be very hard in these team fights unless Selfie and KaSing is there to peel for him. They're gonna have to rely on the ulti from Mimer to keep him alive once Roccat could jump towards him. But there's gonna be a lot of attack speed reduction. We're gonna see frozen hearts again, especially from Alistar, to try and shut down the damage of MrRalleZ. So it's going to be a lot about the protection from the rest of SUPA HOT CREW to keep MrRalleZ alive.
This is really dangerous. There's a ward on top of the red buff. Here comes the jump towards Impaler. The hook doesn't actually land, but Impaler being chased down. The rocket coming through, and Celaver is able to pick up the kill there, flashing in to do that extra damage, and that is a kill back. So we talked about MrRalleZ getting the kill earlier. This time around, it's Celaver gets one. That gets one, and on the other side, Mimer did manage to get some good damage on the tower, but not able to kill it off.
But no teleport was used by Xaxus here because you want to save it in case there's going to be a fight up in this top lane area here, so you can always use it to roam around the map. Did lose, or did get a lot of damage on the tower, but Roccat doing exactly the same they did in game 1.
Yeah.
Control the lanes, and then you just move around with your jungle, with your AD carry and support, and you just decide, okay, we take top tower, sure, take it. Oh, we take bot tower, now we can go mid lane, take it as well. And they're just controlling, once again, the early game, where SUPA HOT CREW needs now to rely on MrRalleZ, once he completes his blade, to start picking off people.
Might be even quicker to do it this way around as well, with the flag coming down, giving that extra attack speed to everyone. Either way, Roccat there did manage to, or VandeR, let's give him the credit, landed the hook onto KaSing, but the black shield was already down, and Roccat just going to be recalling out of this one. MrRalleZ in the meantime has managed to claw the CS back, was starting to fall a little bit behind on that one. Celaver as well, if we look down his items, picked up a pickaxe first to get that big bit, or that extra bit of damage in there, but it looks like he might go Shiv as his first item out.
Yeah, so we actually see more and more people do it. It started as just static shift first item, no extra attack damage, and you just focus on like pushing in the lane 24/7. Now we've seen people go towards pickaxe as the first one, and then they go back and get a static shift just to get a bit more damage. And then you get static shift, which gives you more, or gives you better farming potential. You can take jungle camps, you can clear the waves insanely fast, and therefore skyrocket now towards Infinity Edge, which always was the goal for Tristana anyway. Hit the 2 item mark, not just the first one. It didn't really matter if you only had Infinity Edge. You always needed the second item, static shift or Phantom Dancer, before it really paid off.
Ward's cleared out, nicely done from VandeR as well, finding himself a pink ward after putting down a ward of his own. If you look in the mid lane now, looks like Overpow's going in a, well, I say similar build, pretty much the same, despite that little order change up to get the Catalyst in there first, has now got himself the tier and that Glacial Shroud, which we saw from him in the last match as well.
It's always funny to see Overpow play the lane, and we talked about it in the past few games. He's so passive. It is so hard to gank him. MrRalleZ just tried, didn't work. Impaler tried last game on Rengar, never worked as well. Because Overpow, he just sits back and waits. He's so passive. He's actually the mid laner in Europe who gives up the most farm to the enemy mid laners because of his playstyle where he's taking no chances at all. So it's so easy to farm. We see Selfie once again being ahead in farm. He was the last game against Overpow, and well, you don't die to ganks, you just don't deny any farm either.
Xaxus has the help of Jankos, if that's called out here. I did see Mimer dropping back a little bit as that wave was pushed, so Mimer shouldn't be in any danger there. Of course, already up past that level 6 point, so has his intervention. Got a flash as well, if really needed. But Roccat actually backed away from that. Looks like we're going to be seeing the same build coming out of Xaxus as well. Already got his Sheen. Going to have the Phage in there, and those mobility boots that made him pretty hard to deal with as well in that first game, especially when you then pile the extra movement speed from the other items in there as well. Was a pretty fast cow running around, just being a pain in the rear end.
And just constantly headbutt, auto attack with the Trinity Force and static shift, and it procced, and you got some burst damage, and then you just wait for the next one. You do it again and again and again. He needs to be careful up here though. MrRalleZ once again wants a piece of the cow.
Well, Snake would go down well for the SUPA HOT CREW, but you see, no damage.
No, you can definitely not milk those.
Now they may close in. The SUPA HOT CREW could be in real danger. There's a pulverize, there's a combo coming in. Impaler gonna get locked up. Ultimate is coming out. KaSing, but he's hooked in as well. Mimer is now there. KaSing is gonna be going low. Mimer's the one doing a lot of damage here though. And Xaxus now falling. Gets slowed by Mimer. One more will do it. He headbutts him back to the tower. Oh, pulverize missing. And Mimer is able to get himself the kill in the end. Works out at 2 for 1 in favor of the SUPA HOT CREW and a tower.
Yeah, 2 kills and the tower. Down his bottom lane though, Celaver still pushing. Let's just see it again. Teleport comes in from Mimer. Instantly as they spot the 2 members from Roccat coming from the mid lane, Teleport comes in. Yes, okay, Impaler dies. Once Mimer joins, and MrRalleZ is just standing in the back, hammering away on Roccat. There's nobody touching him. They all killed Impaler and used everything they had onto him. You can pick up 2 kills and the tower.
Speaking of hammering away, Celaver, that was really nicely done. Impaler tries to stop him getting the turret. He just buster shots him back, and then Roccat jumps away, and just like that, turret number 3 for Roccat, and they're backing away for a dragon. We do have KaSing coming around, but he's really the only one in any kind of position for a steal. Not going to be easy for him, and it's not going to happen either. It is Roccat that get themselves their second dragon of the game. Keep that 2,000 gold lead now in check.
And they've pretty much gotten every single dragon in this, pretty much today, actually. Like, game 1, they controlled the dragons. Game 2, they lost the first one. Picked up every other dragon. 2 for 2 now in this game as well. While SUPA HOT CREW once again want to focus on getting some kills on MrRalleZ, their objectives always in favor of Roccat. Same for towers.
Yeah, same for towers. 3-1 up Roccat. Top, outer, and the 2 in bottom lane, of course. One thing, though, that is going for the SUPA HOT CREW here, if you look down the CS columns, 110 to 78 in the top lane. Mid lane as well, a 50 CS lead almost for Selfie. We'll see how much power that gives them here in this mid lane. We already saw, actually, Mimer in the top lane there in that little fight earlier on. Was doing good damage with his Gnash's Tooth in there. Well, he got Rod of Ages now finished off for Overpow. That tier been stacking for quite a while. MrRalleZ just having a look towards mid. Actually, I think was spotted by a pink ward there that I'm not sure he actually noticed himself.
No, didn't seem like it. Roccat pinged once they saw MrRalleZ, but no reaction from SUPA HOT CREW just yet. But you're 100% right. Now SUPA HOT CREW at least is winning the farm in the lanes here. Especially both Mimer and Selfie doing so well. So the one-on-one cow didn't work as well as once we had the lane swap. Even though we had a few swaps around, we're in the start with Xaxus coming down to his lane very late. So Mimer might push it into the tower, got a big lead in terms of experience early on. Which also made it even harder for Alistar to actually do anything in this one-on-one. Still behind in farm, and Orianna in this mid lane. Roccat needs to deal with Selfie, otherwise he's just going to keep farming into Death Cab, into Void Staff very fast.
And they need to delay that as much as possible. Tristana does have that static shift done. 2 out of 3 bits of the Infinity Edge as well, so may be able to get up to that strong point sooner than he would have previously hoped for. MrRalleZ, Blade of the Ruin King, and the Brutalizer, so going Ghost Blade in their second. Roccat here, sending Jankos up towards this top lane to give a bit of defense on Xaxus. Might not be a bad idea whatsoever, because there's 2 men actually waiting in the back. They're going to go on towards Mimer. They need to be careful here. KaSing coming over. Mimer going to use the intervention on himself. Impaler is there as well. That is a good pulverize, but Jankos slowed down. Don't forget, there's no turret behind them. They go back in. Jankos gets the kill on Mimer, and the cow going to try and get in. They do actually get the double kill in the end. It's Jankos that gets them, despite going down, and it's a 2 for 1 in favor of Roccat. 2
members. MrRalleZ, though, wants a piece of Overpow.
Oh, wait though, Rune Prism, where's he going to come from? There is a shockwave, Overpow's going down. And that is the kind of thing that the SUPA HOT CREW need to do now. We saw them do it well in game 2. Let's have a look at that fight once again up top though.
So Mimer baiting here. That's the reason he doesn't flash away once he sees the 2 members, because he knows, okay, KaSing and Impaler is here. But the cow, nice knock up here. Everyone from SUPA HOT CREW is up in the air. And he's just taking no damage, so while all the focus is on Jankos, and he does go down in the end, Cow just does all the damage.
Oh, look at this though. Selfie actually was going to go in. Celaver flashing away. Buster shot comes down. Poison, sick in. No! Last one would have killed him. Just finishes too early. And meanwhile, the Cow is pushing in the top lane as well. They were actually doing damage onto the inhibitor turret there, were Roccat. Not sure exactly how much damage they actually got off in the end before they were forced back. Actually, more than half. So the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane for the SUPA HOT CREW is down to less than half health.
And that is a big issue for SUPA HOT CREW because they have to send in so many members to actually kill the Alistar. We saw it before. It was actually 2v1. Oh, sorry, 2 kills for 1 in favor of Roccat the last time they tried to gank Xaxus and Jankos up in his top lane. So when you have to send so many members, it opens up for the other lanes to be pushed in. While Overpow down in the mid lane, he's the guy in trouble in this game here. The rest of the lanes are doing well for Roccat in terms of applying pressure, forcing SUPA HOT CREW to send members to deal with them, and almost got the bottom inhibitor turret, which would have been a very big deal, because then you could just send Alistar down to this lane and do the exact same deal. Let him push into the inhibitor. Probably wait a few minutes, a bit too early to get his final enemy base, but still would have opened up the base.
So blue buff for Selfie here as well now. Close to finishing off that death cap. And there is the vote. 69% of you thinking that Roccat are going to take this. And, well, they only need this 1/3 game to actually get the victory. Impaler, interestingly, they're stealthing up, moving towards that top lane, I think realizing can't actually get the Cow. He's walked off mobility boots, just steaming away. You see how quick he is.
Honestly, I actually think SUPA HOT CREW is taking the wrong tactic towards Alistar. I don't think they should send all these members up to try and kill him in a lane swap. You should just keep Mimer with his teleport to just wave clear against him all the time. He can sustain himself, and then you have Impaler and MrRalleZ looking for kills on Celaver, looking for kills on Overpow instead. Targets they can actually take down very easily, instead of going towards this 70% damage reduction Cow in the top lane every single time.
Well, look at what's happened when they've done it twice now. One of them, they lost the inner tower. Celaver was actually doing the damage down there. They then backed off and got themselves a dragon. That last fight, where it actually ended up 2 for 1 in favor of Roccat, they did half the damage onto the inhibitor turret as well. This could be a first dragon, though, for the SUPA HOT CREW here. They've already got into position. Cow is split pushing, also has teleport. Problem is that Roccat are a little split up around there, but it seems like SUPA HOT CREW not quite feeling it as of yet. And Jankos even having the audacity to just walk in there and clear out the wards. Damage onto the mid tower, not going to go down yet though.
No, but his mid tower would have died a few minutes ago if SUPA HOT CREW didn't invest so many members and so much time on trying to kill Xaxus. He was actually just using his ulti to kill this tower and ignoring Mimer.
And there is the pulverize, headbutts him away.
Still, he might still die.
He may still. If Mimer can get the speed down, on the speed on himself, and the slow doesn't actually go for it in the end. Both of them have TP though, that's the important thing.
No ulti, however, for Xaxus for the next dragon fight here. No, VandeR, you're in trouble.
Yeah, he's dead. MrRalleZ once again just stealthing into that one. Mimer has actually come down now with that teleport as well. So 5 versus 4 for the dragon. I don't think the Roccat are even going to try here. This should be SUPA HOT CREW's first of the game.
Alright, so now SUPA HOT CREW decided to keep Impaler and MrRalleZ around his mid lane. Look for someone from Roccat to be out of position. Got a kill, got the dragon here. Okay, sure, they lost the tower in the top lane, but it's very low anyway. And Mimer wasn't in a position in time to actually clear the wave before he came to the tower here, so he traded for a kill, for dragon, for mid tower, even bot tower now. So a lot of gold for SUPA HOT CREW all of a sudden, and I like the fact they keep MrRalleZ and Impaler around this mid lane and ignore the Cow.
Oh, they're going to go for this one though. Jankos sliding in. There's a cataclysm coming down onto Selfie. We see the shockwave actually not going to go the way they wanted. And there we see intervention used as well. Jankos going away. They've managed to hook in KaSing though. He will be finished up. MrRalleZ comes across, gets one. Can he get any more? It's VandeR that's focused. He has to then flash away. And VandeR and Celaver will be able to walk off. But it's a 2 for 1 in favor of the SUPA HOT CREW. And they got that bottom turret. Now they're going to close in towards Overpow on this bottom side. He's trying to just heal himself up, but 3 men there. This tower's going down.
SUPA HOT CREW all controlling the map now, to be honest. Like, full control here. First of all, the fight. Want to jump on the Selfie. He has no flash at this point, but he gets a nice shot with one to both Celaver and Overpow. And a good ulti from Mimer. All the damage here completely wasted for the two carries. Xaxus had no ulti in this fight, so he's not able to do anything on this Alistar. And once MrRalleZ joins in, easy for him to clean up a few, or one kill. And win the fight here for SUPA HOT CREW. So kills, dragons, towers, working out. Ignore the cow. Don't try and gank him. Let him do whatever he wants to in his top lane. And look for the other members.
Well, except killing off your towers, you might want to stop him doing that.
Still, if Mimer had been in the lane, he would have been able to actually kill the minions before they got to the tower.
That's true. Currently, MrRalleZ gonna have a red buff. Thought he was gonna head down bottom there and see if he could find anyone, but Roccat actually set up with 4 men on the top side of the map. This could be very, very dangerous for the SUPA HOT CREW. KaSing has already come out there, got a ward down, but wisely enough, goes straight back into his own side of the jungle. Got mobility boots as well, so fairly quick to move in and out of those scenarios. And I think Roccat here kind of giving up on that opportunity that they were trying to set themselves up around the top side of the map. So let's have a look then down some of the items that have come in here recently after all that gold went over to the SUPA HOT CREW. Kayle got a death cap. We got over on the other side actually the Archangels done by Ryze, Infinity Edge as well for Tristana. So nice little bit of power coming out for Roccat. But what are they going to do with it? They're now 2,000 gold behind. Similar amount of gold, funnily enough, to what they were behind in game number 2 when they had that game-winning fight.
Well, look at it. Just compare this game to game 1, where with SUPA HOT CREW had this late game comp here, had a pretty bad mid game to be honest with Tristana, with KaSing. They wanted to just farm up. Now it's actually Roccat. As we talked about in Champs, like Ryze needs more time, Tristana needs more time before they can really become these power picks. Where SUPA HOT CREW, because they have early death cap on Selfie, not very early actually, but he's gonna get early Void Staff instead, and you have a Twitch. You are so strong in the mid game, so they're winning the fights here, get the objectives, get the towers, and they need to just keep applying pressure, extend the goal lead, like Roccat did in game 1, where they punished SUPA HOT CREW for being a bit too late game.
Impaler there has just managed to clear out. What's the next move then for Roccat then? Sitting back to now, might need to be a little bit careful here. That blue buff may end up going away. We've already seen a ping towards it. Xaxus coming, charging through, going to get hit with a binding, but there's no one there for the SUPA HOT CREW to actually follow up on it. Roccat just trying to bully them back out of their own jungle. Want to make sure that they get this blue buff over onto Ryze. And looks like they will be able to manage that one. No one moving over here from the SUPA HOT CREW. However, with the vision that they've got there, will they think about going Baron? Certainly you're going to get themselves some wards down on the top side of Rockat's jungle.
SUPA HOT CREW looking for the fight here. So down some good deep wards. You can start dancing around the Baron if Roccat wants to try and stop you from actually doing the Baron. You can then pick the team fight here in the mid game you really want to have, because MrRalleZ is very, very strong at this point. There's ulti from Mimer to protect him. We saw the ulti from Mimer in the last team fight. Pretty much negating all the damage with Overpow and Celaver did, because they only hit the one target, which was Selfie, who got the ulti from Mimer here, so they can look to do the same. Should actually just go towards the Baron now, because Roccat is so passive, only have 2 wards in their own jungle. Seems for now they just want to go back, spend some of the gold they have, get the Void Staff on Selfie very soon as well, buy some more wards, some pink wards, then they can start setting it up. So never mind my last comment here, they didn't have a pink ward for the Baron pit, therefore didn't start it. So smart, going back, buy some wards, now they can start setting it up.
Actually allows Roccat the time though to get some vision of their own back inside of their own jungle. And get back into more farming. We do see the couple more items coming. That Void Staff you were talking about of Selfie is now done. Slightly different item path this time for Xaxus as well, since he went Trinity Force, Static Shiv last game. This time he's gone straight after that Triforce into a Frozen Heart. Yeah,
so because Roccat is now behind and will be forced into some team fights, he needs to get some early, an early Frozen Heart to try and shut down MrRalleZ, who is so fed and also works well against Mimer on Kayle. So no Static Shift, instead straight towards team fight focus, which is actually a good idea. And let's see if they can catch Mimer. Here's Flash.
He's maybe forced to use it as well. There's a slow, actually, knock-up coming in. There's the combo as well from Xaxus. Mimer gonna go very low, does use the intervention, but he's so very late. Speeds himself up, flashes away, but there is Xaxus. The cow gets the kill.
But notice here, 2 members killing Mimer in the top lane. Dragon taken by SUPA HOT CREW, so they can be happy. Good trade. Yes, okay, Mimer went down. He still has teleport. And MrRalleZ, well, there's nobody for you to actually kill in this mid lane. I really like the headbutt and then you auto-attack him in the air from Alistar.
Finishing off that one. His first kill, actually, of this game at least.
He does have a very nice name. They're Trinity Force Alistar. Can't really say it on air.
Okay.
Sadly.
Well, that's just not fair. You should just not talk about it at all.
Actually, very true, yeah. I shouldn't have said anything.
Now everyone's wondering. Tell me after.
Itch slap.
Okay, I get it. So, Jankos clearing vision back. That dragon already gone though. So nothing for him to take there. Frozen Heart now done for Overpow on Ryze as well. So, more tankiness coming in across the board. Maybe cause a few problems for MrRalleZ. Obviously that all depends on his positioning as well and how these fights really get started. Impaler also building up towards Orianna. Looks like there'll be a Zhonya's for Mimer coming out after that Nash's Tooth and Death Cap start. Already got his Seeker's Arm Guard in. And that's the problem that we see so often with Kayles that are left somewhat unchecked. If you look at his, I mean, not completely unchecked, of course, died a couple of times here, but also got a very healthy amount of farm behind him. And he's only going to be getting stronger as things go on. There is Jankos trying to get into KaSing. Actually was bound up there before he started sliding in, so wasn't able to do any kind of follow through. Only had VandeR and Overpow there with him anyway, so just a case of get out of my jungle.
Notice how Selfie actually did buy a blue pot, so SUPA HOT CREW definitely looking to fight here in the near future. For now they're just sitting here back and farming. They might just be waiting for some key items like the Hourglass on Mimer. MrRalleZ should be able to get an Infinity Edge very soon as well, which is the reason for SUPA HOT CREW to just kind of sit back in the lanes and farm. Because they are ahead, they have a good comp, they could force objectives, but just waiting here for these few items.
At what point though does this late game comp with Tristana and Ryze in particular get to the point where you say, okay, that advantage that we had in the mid lane is maybe gone for us? I mean, MrRalleZ, Selfie himself, and MrRalleZ, I guess you can argue, ahead at this point. 5-0-1 for MrRalleZ, getting him into that position a lot quicker than Roccat would have wanted. Infinity Edge added in there. At what point do Roccat say, okay, now we're actually confident that we've got enough items that we can win this fight?
So the tricky point is SUPA HOT CREW is not bad late game either. They actually have a pretty sick late game comp themselves. So Roccat might never get in a situation in this game where they feel confident enough to actually teamfight straight up because SUPA HOT CREW is scaling so well. Kayle was still a few patches ago, touched a little bit, lost some AP ratio, got some of it back. So not as strong as the old Kayle in the late game, which we saw a few patches ago, but still very, very good and scales so well into late game here. So it's not like SUPA HOT CREW is in any trouble going late. It's just the Ryze becomes very hard to deal with, and then Tristana in the late game is one of the best AD carries. So in that case, they need to be careful. I don't know how Alistar works in the late game damage-wise.
Well, it's going to be hella tanky.
He is.
Which, well, you could say that maybe from his level 6 point onwards as well. So might be trying to push a bit on towards that inner turret on the top lane, but Roccat all moving around to defend that one. Already a lot of wards in position at Baron for the SUPA HOT CREW. And is this, you know, trying, I don't want to say half-heartedly, but you know, just maybe experimenting a bit with a push on top to see how Roccat would react to that one. And we've seen from the SUPA HOT CREW they have made mistakes in previous games. And actually, look at this, Mimer going to get pulled onto here by Jankos. And I'm not sure this is really the fight that Jankos wants. Here come the rest of Roccat though. What can they do? Hook comes through, that actually misses. The Lantern will take Jankos back off to safety as Xaxus headbutts Selfie out as well. And Roccat lose out on their turret. They lose out on the Cataclysm. Is that the SUPA HOT CREW now going to push towards mid or even Baron?
So SUPA HOT CREW just kept pushing the mid lane and the top lane while they had wards in the jungle, that Impaler and Rengar just sitting there looking for someone from Roccat to move to this top side. And it just bought enough time for Mimer to actually take down the tower because Roccat again were moving between the lanes. And we have to see. So 2 pink wards from SUPA HOT CREW at the Baron. Not a pink ward in the Baron pit itself. So Roccat actually been able to just keep a ward and make sure SUPA HOT CREW never started the Baron. And instead just lost the tower. And I wonder if they want to set it up now. Because they've clearly not put any focus on Baron yet. Only on pushing and trying to catch Roccat out of position.
Well, you maybe feel that Overpow going to the bottom lane would be an opportunity to move straight to Baron. It's not the case here though for the SUPA HOT CREW. In fact, they're just going to try and pillage that bottom side of the jungle. And look at this, Roccat have already moved up towards Baron themselves. Dragon spawns in 10 minutes. Roccat now spotted with that pink ward, which Jankos will start to clear out, already getting the flag in position so he can make a quick getaway, which he may well have needed. Should also maybe note the talisman in there for VandeR as well, along with those boots of mobility, going to give him a lot of chasing power and maybe even escapability if they need to just get away quickly, especially if MrRalleZ pops up in their face. We'll see though, it's going to be a dragon here for the SUPA HOT CREW. Had a better control of dragon this game than both of the previous ones.
Yeah, they got the lead. They've been taking dragons ever since. It was all about the moment in the game where they realized it's not worth going for Xaxus and oh, Selfie flashing away.
Having to flash early on that one. We see Xaxus actually getting hit, but he's just going to take, no, not taking the lantern actually. Has to pop his ultimate. That could be bad news for Roccat. SUPA HOT CREW going to be able to force them off, and this is maybe where they say, right, now is the time to start fighting around this Baron to try and draw Roccat in. Whilst Alistar's ultimate is down, have a go for it. It's worth noting though on a very quick cooldown.
It is. I actually believe the flag from Jankos was on the lantern, so you couldn't click it. I'm not sure if it works when it's your own Jarvan here, but normally when it's the enemy Jarvan, he puts the flag on the lantern, you can actually click it, or it used to be that way. So ulti used. SUPA HOT CREW, however, doesn't look to capitalize on it. We talked about the talisman before for VandeR here and him roaming around. It does actually give 20 move speed now, which is good. Did, however, lose 10% cooldown reduction, which is not too good. Especially because cooldown reduction is becoming harder and harder for support to get, actually.
So, we go back into the state where Roccat are trying to get everything that they possibly can out of the jungle. Try and get those items in. We'll see a Randuin's next for Jankos. There's that average blade in there for Xaxus, so it looks like he will finally get up to that static shiv once again. Also got himself a Spectre's Cowl in there as well though, so see exactly which way he decides to go first. Whether more tankiness or more damage and movement speed is going to be the way that he goes.
So this might be respect for the cow and his Trinity Force power spike we have seen before from Xaxus, but SUPA HOT CREW, even though they had the lead, had a very, very farmed Twitch. Has not been looking to do anything on the map. Taking Dragon, got one tower in the top lane, and then just been sitting around, farming the lanes. Again, we talked about how it could be because they want some key items before they look for these fights. We have double Outlaws now completed on Mimer and Selfie. But they've had enough time to set up a lot of wards in the enemy jungle, and they only did it once. Otherwise, Roccat has actually been able to ward up their own jungle, ward up the Baron, and stay fairly safe.
Tell you what though, there's only a 400 or so gold difference between the two AD carries. 101, but 336 farm for Celaver. Look at this, Impaler trying to get in the... Oh, a lot of damage going to come to Impaler. He actually has to flash away from that one. Wasn't ready, and that was without the hook actually landing onto him. That could spell danger here for the SUPA HOT CREW. Is that enough for Roccat to feel confident? Look at MrRalleZ off to the side. He has to stealth himself up to get away.
But again, this is all due to the fact there's not enough wards from SUPA HOT CREW in this jungle. And it's too easy for Roccat to keep all the wards. They had a pink ward in the bush. They stood 5 members knowing there's no wards here from SUPA HOT CREW, so they don't see us. And just wait for whatever member from SUPA HOT CREW will actually run in first. It was Impaler. Smack him down, force the flash away, and Once again, move to Baron, place a new ward, get some extra wards here, clear out the wards from SUPA HOT CREW again, and they can now look to do the same. So, because you have Twitch, it becomes very hard for SUPA HOT CREW as well to siege up a tower. You do have Orianna and Kayle to kind of make up for Twitch in that case. So even sieging a tower would have been an option for SUPA HOT CREW 10 minutes ago when they were so far ahead and Twitch was so farmed, and even Mimer was strong on Kayle. So not been using the lead, and just been giving Roccat a lot of time to farm here. Can also be because SUPA HOT CREW is confident their own late game setup is just fine, and they can deal with whatever Roccat brings.
Well, Celaver has now actually turned the tables in gold, funnily enough. He's 300 gold ahead of MrRalleZ, and that's a 5-0-1 Twitch at this point. It's that massive CS difference that's doing it. If you want to, I guess, compare those big CS differences, we can look at the mid lane as well, where there is a 2,000 gold lead for Selfie over Overpow, and 4,000 even in the top lane. Look at that one, that's a big lead for Mimer. So Baron is started off here. Roccat a little bit out of position. In fact, they're a lot out of position from this one. This should be going over to the SUPA HOT CREW without any problem whatsoever. I don't think Roccat can get anywhere close, and it is the SUPA HOT CREW that finally get in there and take down Baron.
We finally got a pink ward in the Baron pit, cleared the ward from Roccat a few minutes ago, and now they just went in, picked it up here. So while it took a good 10-15 minutes to get the Baron, they got it now. And let's see which plays they want to make. We also do see one of the issues about Twitch, because when you are trying to farm together with an Orianna in the mid lane, it's kind of unfair. Orianna will just instantly kill the minions, and so all the farm is gone to Celaver on the side of Roccat, where Overpow's been falling behind, and on the other side of SUPA HOT CREW, they invested all the farm onto Selfie, and MrRalleZ fell behind.
Seems more important if we fight actually breaks out in this one. For now, Roccat actually setting up somewhat of a trap on the top side of the map. Who's going to come there? It's actually MrRalleZ that's headed towards that top lane. He's just pinged on that big wave, but that's pretty far away from base. I'm not sure that's a position you want to put your AD carry in.
They're pushing down.
And Roccat are going to show themselves.
Notice the mid lane.
This is a 5-man push. We can see that the SUPA HOT CREW are actually pushing in middle. And what's the decision? It's going to be a recall. Recall from the SUPA HOT CREW.
Same for Roccat, however. Actually, they're just going to run to this mid lane. Everyone from SUPA HOT CREW recalled. So now Roccat, buy some time. Just get a few wards. You push it down. You stopped the movements from SUPA HOT CREW here. And they just want to wait now on the Baron buff. They want to wait till it's gone. So smart little move. They were setting up first for a trap, ended up pushing down, force recalls, go back to base.
Delay as much as possible. We're going to be seeing Selfie hit his 6-item threshold here pretty soon. Overpow, however, is pretty far behind on that front.
And there's no last whisper for MrRalleZ. Have to go for Banshees, which means against a Frozen Heart. 2
Frozen Hearts.
2, sorry.
And a Randuin's.
Randuin's Omen. There's gonna be some tanky members in his face.
See if he can pick off the squishes, which becomes less likely when Celaver is about to hit level 18. Is going to be sat as far away as possible. You see the range of that Tristana. Can't really get close to him unless Celaver really makes a positional error. That's kind of what you're going to hope for on that front, or whether Impaler can maybe run straight through the pack with the ball on top of him and they can just throw their entire combo and take out the AD carry. Easier said than done, though, I think. There is a dragon available, although I'm not sure that the SUPA HOT CREW, with this Baron buff on, are too interested in that right now. They're actually looking for picks here inside of the jungle, or maybe even a bit of a push on towards this inhibitor turret. But see how quickly those waves go down. Celaver making mincemeat of the minions.
He is the main wave player, however, so if SUPA HOT CREW splits up into multiple lanes, they can always choose a lane where Celaver is not sitting and playing on Tristana. Therefore force Overpow to use his ulti. It's not like Alistar is going to provide a lot of wave play. He's not going to jump into the minions while you're at his tower. So what SUPA HOT CREW can do is spread it out and then just quickly move here. Like we actually saw, go top lane. Roccat sent 5 members to defend it, and you run to mid lane, which was already pretty low. Kill it. Get even more gold here. There's a lot of damage on the side of SUPA HOT CREW. I mean, Mimer is very strong. Selfie Didn't pick up any kills, but just been farming. Just reach his 6 item point. And then of course the Twitch, who needs a last whisper, however.
Needs a last whisper. Let's have a look how much. Sat on 1800 gold at this point, so not quite enough to finish off. Sat on that Banshee's Veil though, so maybe felt like a bit of protection at this stage would have benefited him more. Maybe get that last whisper as his possible final item. We'll have to see. The SUPA HOT CREW have not exactly made big pushes in this one. That Baron buff now, of course, has worn off, so we'll possibly be waiting for the next time that does spawn up into the map. For now, though, we are 10,000 gold in the lead. Roccat's starting to get towards those 6 item builds as well, and once you get to that stage, it doesn't really matter how big that gold lead is.
Oh, I know.
Impaler gonna get caught out. Shockwave will pull in 2 of them. Xaxus and Overpow gonna try and get away from this one. Roccat now on the back foot. Can they get to safety? MrRalleZ popped the rat-a-tat-tat, but it didn't actually have the range to actually catch anyone. So Roccat trying there to catch out Impaler. Had a good go at him, almost losing Xaxus. Overpow went down to half as well. They need to heal up and get back onto the inhibitor towers. Yeah, fact, I don't know if SUPA HOT CREW are even pushing it. No, they're not.
No, we just saw the damage SUPA HOT CREW has here. Nice shockwave from Selfie. And Xaxus, if he doesn't pop the ulti instantly, he will drop low so fast because there's so many people hitting him. And it's hard for Roccat actually to get towards the backline of SUPA HOT CREW where Mimer is, where Selfie is, and MrRalleZ, because Ryze needs to flash in. If he wants to join, Tristana's going to stay in the back line. And Alistar at this point, he doesn't have a lot of damage. He's basically just a tank. So he won't be able to go in and just kill MrRalleZ or Selfie alone. And I really like the fact we do have some magic resist on the side of Selfie. And we even see Mimer build it. Because most of Alistar's damage should be magic damage as well. So very hard for Roccat here in these team fights. And also one of the reasons SUPA HOT CREW were happy to just sit and wait. Because they knew who's gonna dive us in this back line? The Alistar, who can't kill anyone by himself anymore, or the jungler, who's pretty much in the same situation.
Well, Baron is up in a minute, and the SUPA HOT CREW put a ward perfectly in between the inner and outer areas, and had to use the sweeping lens there to actually catch the vision that Roccat had put down. But they've got their wards in position for when that Baron does come up once again. Let's not forget the SUPA HOT CREW took that one without a challenge last time around. See if Roccat want to let it go as easily this time as well. Not sure that they will want to let a second Baron go over. Although sitting back has not cost them too much at this stage of things. They've still got their full ring of inhibitor turrets. They're not far away now from getting up to full build. Should note though, MrRalleZ has now got that last whisper. Looks like we're going to be seeing a Zhonya's from KaSing as well, so he's going to be able to dive into the middle of the team, pop his Zhonya's as well with his ultimate running in a little while. Still going to take him a while, of course, to actually get the goal to finish that one off, but Baron is now up. This could be the decider. SUPA HOT CREW have already started it.
Everyone from Roccat is close. They're moving in. So they need to get a ward in this Baron pit.
Got no vision. How low is the Baron? Not that low. Actually, they get the ward in there, manage to force them away. Jankos slides back out, so some clearing to be done by the SUPA HOT CREW in that backside. KaSing's going to try and zone them out, but Roccat starting to move around. KaSing actually in dangerous area there. He might be forced to flash away. There is the damage. They've stolen it! They've stolen it! It's Jankos that gets the steal, but can they get the kill? Impaler being focused down. VandeR though gets blown up. Jankos coming in. They need to just get away from this one. Xaxus on the backside. Oh, flashes are binding. Will actually knock up KaSing there. That should mean he gets away for free. And Roccat lose the support, take the top laner, and steal the Baron.
But Overpow here was just chasing Mimer, killing him all by himself, and will actually stay alive because SUPA HOT CREW don't even know where he is. So he's gonna recall, got a kill, got the Baron. This is steal once again. Jankos jumps in, takes it up, beautiful smite for him. And actually then we have Roccat team fighting. It's all about Overpow though. 1-on-1 versus Mimer. Definitely a fight he wants to take. Winning it, destroying him. Again, remember Frozen Heart as well. Again, troll. And he dies. So 1-for-1 and the Baron here for Roccat.
Pretty much the best trade they could have hoped for, I suppose, obviously, without getting any more kills But it was doubly awesome from Jankos. He managed to slide in there, knock up Impaler, and then get the smite out as well in time. Brilliant stuff from Jankos. Now Roccat may be feeling a bit more confident.
Yeah.
But how are they going to push against that Orianna?
Well, they're not. It means we're going to have a few extra minutes of laid back farming. Get full items on all your carries on the side of Roccat here. Celaver only needs to sell his boots. We have Overpow just picked up his last item. The cow up in his top lane needs to sell his flask. Also complete his banshees before. So he's actually still, Xaxus here, a bit behind in terms of finishing all his items. But it's simply going to mean we have for some time now where SUPA HOT CREW is going to say, okay, we're not going to deal with you and your Baron buff. And Roccat is going to say, okay, we're not going to deal with you because we're still 10,000 gold behind.
Although it's not quite 10k anymore, Roccat with that Baron actually managing to claw it back a little. And we are pretty much on that point where 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 not going to make that much of a difference because everyone's getting up to full build. Jankos in the meantime here, moving down towards Dragon. Look at this Roccat pinging, maybe trying to set up somewhat of a trap. KaSing needs to be careful, or he could just put Black Shield on and that will actually basically mean that he is being careful. Stop that CC coming out from the cow. And
they actually decides to stop the Dragon. Now they move towards it. Mimer was up in his top lane. He should keep pushing it to kill it with Selfie. And if I can get into this tower while Roccat were busy doing the Dragon, seems they're just going to take the red buff. And a little bit too late if they want to push. Now Roccat can actually recall.
Yeah, they see them going up there. Recall will come in quickly. Actually, SUPA HOT CREW recalling out as well. That was a third of 7 dragons in this game for Roccat. Of course, a Baron apiece is what they've got as well. Getting down to that phase again of the game where one mistake costs you everything. And we have to be honest here, we've seen both the SUPA HOT CREW and Roccat in this position before, where it was just about one team fight, where they've made mistakes.
And we're really looking at Selfie here, who's been the guy in late game, who's in the past had some very bad decisions and ended up costing both him and the team pretty much the entire game. He does have Hourglass, he has some defensive stats, he has a flash, and he's a late game Orianna, which means he should be fairly safe. Could still be the target for Roccat here. And again, we have seen him being out of position, we've seen him take the wrong decisions and then end up dying.
You've got almost the double responsibility with that Orianna full item build, not only to not get caught out and die, but to press R at the right time as well. We've seen plenty of Oriannas have the ball in the wrong place, press R and catch nobody. Let's see if Selfie can keep himself, or keep his eye on the ball, to use a terrible phrase I think for Orianna, but we've seen the pressure get to him before, and this is certainly probably the most pressured situation that you could wish yourself to be in as Selfie. 2-0 down in a best of 5. You know that one mistake here will cost you the game pretty much.
Exactly.
And not just the game then, it means that you are possibly, well, you're definitely not going to Worlds if you lose this one. And then you're possibly fighting for relegation, for promotion once again. Against
either Millennium or SK Gaming, 2 very strong teams as well, who's actually been looking stronger than Roccat in the last few weeks. So for SUPA HOT CREW, also one of the reasons we see them play really safe and not take any chances. They don't want to risk using or taking the lead they had before. Did of course lose the Baron, which was a bit of a misplay, but before that they just played it very safe and felt like they had the better late game, so they didn't have to make any plays. And now they have to do this annoying point where they need to move in the base of Roccat, and once again they're gonna have to either spread out and push all the lanes in and move to the lane where Celaver is not standing to kill all the minions. Or they have to do the trick with Orianna where you put the ball on your AD carry, he moves in, he gets a few hits on the tower, then he moves away, you can get the Black Shield as well of course, and you do that like 5-6 times. It takes some time, but the tower will go down unless the enemy team engage onto you.
Well, so far SUPA HOT CREW, they've not made any attempt to really get in onto these towers. That may change here. It becomes harder once those Banshees Veils are all off cooldown. Makes Selfie's job a lot harder, although with that AoE of Orianna also easier to, I guess we can say, to pop those Banshee's Veils in the first place. And we see for both AD carries, boots have now been sold, Zephyrs are in there, full item build on both of them.
Yeah, MrRalleZ just needs to sell the Ghost Blade. Unless he wants to keep it actually for the ulti. So they can activate it just to get some few extra hits off. But normally you do see people sell the Ghost Blade, pick up like a Phantom Dancer in the late game. But otherwise fully stacked out, especially Celaver. Tristana level 18, max range, you have all the items you need. This is really the time where you can shine. And the Xaxus here, Blade of the Ruined King, seems to be his last item on this Alistar. So wants some more damage. Already tanking off with the ulti. And I do believe we actually saw top lane Alistar earlier today in MLB with 24s and Blade of the Ruined King. No static shift. So
Overpow going down to the bottom lane with 2 seconds on Baron is literally the worst thing he could have done there, showing himself. Oh, they're going to go for Mimer. They're going to go for Mimer in the middle lane. They're going. He's got away though, actually managing to get away from him. But look at this Roccat, of course, in SUPA HOT CREW out position. MrRalleZ is going to be the focus. Shockwave comes onto Xaxus, so doesn't do the damage. MrRalleZ, he's going to go down here surely. Intervention comes in, but they get him. The shutdown for Celaver. This could be it for Roccat. Celaver going to go over. They get the one onto Impaler as well. He even manages to jump away from the damage, but Mimer, Selfie and KaSing coming in. Roccat get the 2-for-1 and back up. And the bottom turret, the bottom inhibitor turret is going to Roccat here from the minions.
So that is, Xaxus has teleport if he wants to go down and try and push it towards the inhibitor here. Wouldn't be worth it here because everyone from SUPA HOT CREW is recalling. But this was SUPA HOT CREW engaging onto Roccat first. They jumped Celaver. Mikhail's was used by VandeR. He jumped away, picked up the very first kill onto MrRalleZ. Once the ulti from Mimer was gone, and now 4 members after this Baron here. There's teleport on Mimer. He can join in.
He can join in, but they're going to be too slow. They're going to be too slow. Only KaSing will get there in time, puts a ward down. Will actually miss the binding. Celaver just sidestepping that. Baron number 3 is going to Roccat.
And this last team fight here, I really hope we get a replay. The ulti from Selfie. We just talked about how he needs to land a shockwave. Full item Orianna in the late game. It only hit the big fat cow, where it popped his ulti on and did no damage at all. Celaver managed to stay alive even though Impaler jumped him. And then it was all about Roccat collapsing on MrRalleZ. Overpow flashed in. We're just going to see the replay. Okay, they jump onto Celaver first, get some good damage. Kayle is used, he flashes away, and now just starts hitting. Notice the ulti here from the Selfie. Only onto the cow, no damage. Now Overpow flashes in. Ulti used by Mimer onto MrRalleZ, so it takes a while before he actually dies. We end up going down. Celaver is now 100% HP, jumps in, another kill, gets the reset, get out once again. 4 members alive from Roccat. It was all about Selfie's ulti here. And also Mimer joining in slightly late because he was in the mid lane. And then the 4 members from SUPA HOT CREW jumped Roccat before he was actually ready to join in.
56.5 minutes down in the game. The gold has crunched back down to just 3,000 difference. Roccat now with that Baron buff running. If we weren't at full item builds before, then we're definitely knocking on the door for that now. Both mid laners there. The AD carries, of course, selling out the boots earlier on. Top laners as well, not far off.
But let's be real, we're not really in the late game before even the support has 6 items. That's the point we're waiting for here. No more wards. Sell your Sidestone. Still gonna be about half an hour.
Well, we've got about half an hour until we touch towards the longest games, that's for sure. Roccat here, maybe looking to push some advantage, and why not? Baron buff's on. They've got an open inhibitor thanks to the work they did earlier and that big wave of minions as they were doing that fight. Now they're moving up towards that inhibitor. Will the SUPA HOT CREW try and defend this one against a Baroned up Roccat? Celaver needs to be careful. He's the one that they want. We saw it in that last fight. Mikhail's from VandeR was able to get him away. Still an inner turret in mid lane, which would be the safer option right now, but do Roccat want to be thinking about safe, or do they want to be thinking about the most effective at this stage? Because taking down the inhib in the bottom lane makes it easier for the next Baron, for one, and also for pushing in onto that top and middle lane later with super minions.
But imagine if in the last team fight, they actually did get a route onto Celaver. If the ball from Selfie had been on Impaler when he jumped in, they could have killed him. And it's what they're looking to do here. Ball onto Impaler, jumps in. Need to get rid of the Banshee first from Celaver, but then you can one-shot him at this point. If he gets locked up first, before the Mikael's even comes in from VandeR, if the ball from Selfie is there, he will die. And also why Roccat is not exactly just running straight at SUPA HOT CREW, they have to respect it. We're hitting the 1 hour mark very, very soon.
Thought Overpow was going to push that mid lane in, but breaking up from your team, unless you're Xaxus, I think at this stage is not the best idea. MrRalleZ will happily come out there stealth up, although Overpow got tons of damage and pretty damn tanky as well at this stage. Giving himself yet another blue buff, and I think Roccat, well, I say think, they are starting to back away. I was going to say there's 1,800 gold to Celaver to spend, but it's not got much to spend it on anymore.
Nope. Buy some potions, sell your item, buy it again. If you want to, that's about it. Like everyone is on the sweeping lens, stacked it out. I'd actually love to see a scrying orb though here in the late game. We had it earlier from Celaver and then he sold it. Should have kept it in my opinion. It can actually save your life. If you do expect the enemy team to have set up a trap, you have the scrying orb. Or if they rush a Baron and you're not ready for it. So, a bit risky here selling your scrying orb, but that's about it we can talk about with Celaver and his items.
He is fully stacked out, no doubt about that one. Big wave coming down mid. Orianna says big wave is going to be gone. Xaxus and Celaver as a pair, not ideal. Roccat move 3 towards the top lane. They're looking to catch someone out. I don't think the SUPA HOT CREW are going to make that mistake though.
No, staying as a group here. We have a lot of wards as well from SUPA HOT CREW, just in their own jungle to see, okay, is Roccat trying to flank us? Now moving up as a group, Baron 2 minutes. So no Baron buff for Roccat. And let's see.
Distinct lack of wards from Roccat there, although, you know, with 2 minutes, still got time.
Oh, they're
going to go in for Overpow. Where's he going?
No!
He's gone the wrong way!
Well, it might not be over yet.
Flashing over, Roccat are going for this one. Xaxus misses his combo. Overpow now ready over the other side. Impaler flashed the other way. What a turn of events, are going for it. Roccat are going for this one. I'm maybe getting a bit too excited for it. No,
they're pushing down here.
They're going for mid lane.
No ulti for Impaler here. He won't be able to engage onto Celaver. There's no ball from Selfie onto him and jump Celaver. It's gone. They need to wait for the ulti to be ready. It could be inhibitor.
They've not recalled here. They're going to actually walk around. They're taking far too much time to get into this one. There's the inhib turret. Roccat managed to break it. Can they get any more? There's the lantern away from the binding. Roccat take an inhib turret and are able to escape. The SUPA HOT CREW now all up in middle. They're not going to push though.
Alright, so now the base, both in the bot lane and in the mid lane, is open. If Roccat manages to win a team fight, they can push straight in there, either get inhibitors or just try and finish the game. But now, decided to go back and forth, be ready for this Baron here. You cannot be late for this Baron. 35 seconds. They need to recall, clear this wave, get it pushing towards SUPA HOT CREW, and then move in here. But because Roccat took the tower and now moved over to their bottom side of the map, it actually meant that SUPA HOT CREW could go into the jungle and play some wards. Or one. A ward is a ward.
A ward is a ward. There's only 15 seconds till Baron. Roccat are nowhere near it, you know. 10 seconds. Overpow is still in base. They need to start moving around. The question is, will SUPA HOT CREW be decisive enough just to say, Baron spawns, bam, kill it? Selfie's going to start, but Selfie's all alone. Mimer's not there. MrRalleZ only just joining in. And Roccat have got a ward down in the back of the pit, so they've got vision of it. Overpow is there. They are in time, but they've got no vision on the front side of this Baron pit, which means that you are going to be blind checking quite a lot. However, remember back to this last fight in this area was good for Roccat. Selfie not able to get his ultimate off. Celaver was able to escape after being jumped on by Impaler. Baron He's going down pretty quickly here. Look at this. Roccat might be too late for it. Jankos getting bound up, and there is it. Going over towards the Super Hot Crew. Xaxus right in the middle has gone for MrRalleZ. There's the jump in from Jankos. Celaver at the back. Who's he going for? Mimer's ulti is down. Mimer's gonna down. Overpow gets that. MrRalleZ has got the GA on, and he's still alive. Shockwave hits Overpow and VandeR. Celaver though still doing the work. Is he gonna be able to get rid of KaSing? No. And this is dangerous. Sidesteps are binding. Gets one kill. That will give him the reset to jump away or to just go for it. He does some damage, does jump away. It's a 3 for 2. Baron going to SUPA HOT CREW as well.
So Roccat here. Delayed the engage. Just gonna see it again. Nice blinding onto Jankos. He can't try and steal it. Xaxus goes in. A lot of damage to MrRalleZ, but that's his burst. Blade is used. Static chip proc and everything is on to MrRalleZ here. Overpow has a hard time joining the fight. They're waiting for the ulti from Mimer to disappear once it's gone. And once the ulti from Xaxus is gone, SUPA HOT CREW all of a sudden feel like now we can actually go towards them. We can try and get some kills. Nice shockwave from Selfie this time around. And I love the fact KaSing here almost died to Celaver, but then he flashes into the Baron pit. He knows he's gonna die, but he's delaying Celaver killing him for such a long time. He doesn't give him a reset. And therefore Celaver has to choose. Do I want to go to him and kill him in the Baron pit, or do I want to go towards my teammates and try and kill the rest of the members of SUPA HOT CREW? And he decides to kill KaSing in the Baron pit once it's too late, and he can't pick up any more kills here. So actually a good flash, delaying his own death here and not giving a reset to Celaver.
With that, the SUPA HOT CREW took down the inhibitor. They're going to be taking away a dragon here. Crazy stuff. We're 65 minutes into this game. We've had 9 dragons, 4 barons, and we've hit the 100,000 gold mark for the SUPA HOT CREW. Funnily enough, it's only 5,000 gold lead. That shows you how close this game is.
But his last team fight was a good explanation of why Ryze late game can be a bit hard to play in team fights. Because Overpow tried to flash in, but he never really got in range of MrRalleZ, which meant he has to run towards him. But there's an Orianna ball in your way, constantly slowing you down. There's also the risk of the ulti, the shockwave. So once he finally got in range to actually kill someone, there was a shockwave from Selfie, and then Overpow just ended up dying himself very fast. So he didn't actually join the fight. He was just running around looking for an opening. But while Ryze is a fantastic late game champion, when you're against something like an Orianna, it's hard to get in the face of the enemy carries and just kill them without the risk of being shockwaved or just zoned away.
So super minions are coming in for the SUPA HOT CREW. GA wasn't actually popped on MrRalleZ there in that fight either, so he has that. And are the SUPA HOT CREW now going to try and use these waves to their advantage? It looks that way. They sent Mimer down bottom to push up that lane. They had the remaining 4 go towards the top lane as well to start that one pushing in. All the while Roccat trying to deal with those super minions in the mid lane, stop them going too far up and into the base. And now it's all about the SUPA HOT CREW trying to manipulate Roccat, try and force someone to back away and deal with those super minions, and then crowbar their way in towards that top lane. Actually, Jankos here, gonna go towards Mimer, gonna force his flash.
That's gonna cost him the tower, should cost him the tower on his top lane.
Hot gonna come out. Selfie, can they kill him off though? Rawls doing good damage. Oh no, the shockwave comes down to get 2. They managed to kill off Thresh. Xaxus here, got his ultimate running, but they've got the damage now to beat through it. And there it is, a double kill for MrRalleZ. Turret and inhibitor going down. The SUPA HOT CREW here can win the game. Celaver has to come up massive. Overpow, Jankos, all 3 of them need to combine if they're to hold on to this base. Minions gonna be taken slowly but surely out of the equation. They can probably tank it up. There's the super minions coming in. Celaver trying to get rid of him. They're gonna go for Selfie. He just pops the Zhonya's. Celaver trying at the side. Selfie down to half. Intervention used. Ulti came out there. There is the Nexus turret going down. Jankos gonna dive in the middle. Celaver still hammering away, this time on MrRalleZ. Second Nexus turret goes down though. They just need to focus the Nexus here. They're gonna try and do it. Overpow going in. Does a lot of damage. It won't matter though. The SUPA HOT CREW, after 67.5 minutes, come back and win game number 3.
Such a long game here. SUPA HOT CREW, they had the lead. They didn't want to use it. They played it very safe for like 20-25 minutes, just farming. They wanted to go to this late game point. They got the team by the Baron, won it, got the Baron as well, and I managed to win the game.
67.5 minutes. 110 to 100,000 gold there by the end. I've lost count of how many dragons and barons we saw out of that one, but we saw it draw away with Mimer on that bottom lane, take the Jarvan out of the equation, and we see what happens. You just pile on through. Good shockwave from Selfie. That was the question that we really had coming into this very late game. Can he hit the shockwaves? And he did. Those last two fights, they were spot on.
Yeah, so he missed one, but in the next two fights, he was the guy who turned it around.
Yeah.
The one around Baron. SUPA HOT CREW actually had a bad start to the fight here. They lost Mimer after his ulti ran out, and it was all about the shockwave. It came in, Overpow was a bit too aggressive. Well, actually, he doesn't have a choice on Ryze. He needs to get in there to the carries. So he got caught by the shockwave, died. The fight went in favor of SUPA HOT CREW and the game. But man, that was a very important game by SUPA HOT CREW because you could see how they didn't want to take any chances, didn't want to take any risk of throwing the game away.
Yeah.
So just kept like playing it so safe and now end up winning it. So confidence boost going to next game. Still some things they should have sorted.
Well, that was the question that we really had. With that fragile state of mind, I think we can safely say from the SUPA HOT CREW and from Roccat, they're not exactly Mr. Confident when it comes to the teams here in the LCS. Was that second game enough to break them? They showed great spirit there in game number 3 to hold out in what was a marathon of a game. Almost 68 minutes in before they were able to turn it. They've still, though, we have to know, and of course it's a best of 5. Scoreline 2-1 to Roccat. They have to win 2 more games in a row.
Yes, and Roccat this time around banned away the Maokai. SUPA HOT CREW in the last game, where Roccat was on blue side, didn't ban it. Was first pick by Xaxus. He did really well. They have to ban it this time around. But if they want to focus on the other bans like Elise against Jankos, the KaSing as well, suddenly they're out of bans. So Roccat should know now going into the game what's going to be banned by SUPA HOT CREW.
Well, this one definitely just got interesting. We'll move into the next game in a while, but first we're going